So let's start with derived data types. So the first one we have is range. So range is a data type which is often considered as a function, but it is a data type. So what it does, it returns a specified sequence of numbers. That means if we give it 3 parameters, right? So this is what I've mentioned: the start, the stop, and the step. So it tells where to start from, where to end, and how much do you want it to step. That means to add or subtract. Okay, so it returns the values according to the inputs given in the parameters. Okay, so like here I've given range 0. Range, it starts from 0, it ends on 10, and it increases twice. To print a range, we usually should use some loops and everything that sort. So let's just see. For, let's say, this is a bit, you might not understand what for loop is, but right now you don't have to understand, you just have to understand what it does. So you see what it has printed: 02468. Why did it print that way? Because I asked it to step 2, that means add 2. So it will print, it will start from 0. It printed 0, then it added 2, which is 2, then it added 2 again to the number 2, which gave 4. That is how it works. Okay, this is what range does. On specifying the start, stop, step, it returns the values according to the parameters. Let's take another example wherein I won't give step. Let's see what it does. See, I did not give any step, so it just added 1, because I said by default step is +1. And if you'd see, it did not print 10 because this 0 is inclusive, but this is not inclusive. This is exclusive. This is excluded from the complete calculations. So whatever you put it, like if I want to print 10, then I will have to increase the stop. So now I have 10. Let's take another example wherein we don't give start. We have given only the stop. See, by default it takes 0 only. Let's give a negative step. Okay, see, did you see how it works? So this is what range does. It prints a specified sequence of number in whatever arrangement you've given, like where to start, where to stop, and how much do you want it to step, add or subtract accordingly. This is what range does. So the range function, the range data type can also be typecasted into a tuple or a list. So let's just see. Right now we don't know what tuples are or what lists are, but let's just understand that you remember like how we converted booleans into integers and hexadecimal to binary, all that conversion. So this is similar kind of conversions. So when we convert one data type to another, it is called typecasting. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a range data type. I'm going to give like random values. Now I'm going to take another variable and I'm going to convert this range into a list. I'm going to print A, and similarly I'm going to print B also. And to understand it even more better, let's just print their types. Okay, so let's just see the output. See, we were successful in converting the range data type to list, and Now that you can't see the values, let's just print the values in range. Okay, see, this is the range. This was by default, range gets printed this way, but we usually use range to iterate over things. Iteration in everything you will understand when we'll go to the chapter where we'll understand the control flow statements, which we will cover after this. The dots will connect as soon as we will complete the basics. Right now, whatever you think is confusing would get clear as we proceed. 0, 5, 10, these are the numbers, and these are the numbers that got into the list. So this is how a range type can be typecasted into a list, or let's say tuple. See, this is a tuple. You would say, what's the difference? But we'll see the difference when we come to the list and tuple part. So let's start with lists. So lists are a collection of data. Okay, similar kind of data. That means data that is related to one another. Okay, that is stored in one single variable. This makes our work very easy. Suppose that I have to make a shopping list. So if I declare every item in a different variable and then combine it, it's of no use. So storing that shopping list item in a single variable would make my work very easy. I would know that on writing shopping, I would get the whole list of all the items that I need to shop. So, to collect all the similar items together in one single place, it's called list. There are 3 more, which we're going to cover later, but the first one is list. It is mutable. So you remember what mutable is. That means we did mutable and immutable, the difference between the both. So the mutable is that changes can be made after the list has been created. That means we can add item, we can remove item, or we can change the already existing item in the list. That is what mutable means. That is also what changeable means. That means mutability and changeability are related to one another, are quite similar. Okay. Next is list item are ordered. Ordered means that they follow an order. That means every item has a place. Like the first item is say sugar. The second item is say tea. So the order remains the same. That means sugar will be the first item only if we don't change. That way order is very important. We refer to order in the form of indexing. Like to address any list item, we use indexing. What is indexing? We'll see practically, hands-on. While we do the practical, let's first see what lists are, like the basic overview. And duplicate values are allowed. That means we can have 2 sugar in a single list. That is allowed. In fact, we are allowed to have integers, strings, boolean, any sort of value in that list. So let's see how lists are created first of all. So list initialization. So the first method is by simply using square brackets. Okay, I'm going to show you how we can. So see, I've entered a boolean, I've entered a string, and what else do we have? I don't remember. Let's enter a float. Okay, so this is the one way to create a list. Another way is using list function, and I'm going to copy paste the same items and put it in the list as it is. This is done using function, that is done using square brackets. Let's print both the lists and list. Let's print the type. There's an error. Oh, sorry for that. It can take only one single argument, so I passed tuple inside it. Okay, so this is, see, both the shows that it is lists only, right? And list is always represented using the square brackets. These brackets that you see, this is how list is represented. So let's see what tuples are. So tuple is collection of data. It is very much similar to list, except it is immutable. That means once made, there cannot be any changes. We cannot add any new item, we cannot remove any item, or we can't even change the existing item in a tuple. Rest, everything is similar to a list. Let's see how we declare a tuple. There are two ways, like we had in list. So let's just quickly see that. This is, so we used square brackets in the list and we use round brackets in tuple. There's one more way, that is tuple function. That is how we can also create a tuple. And I'm going to pass in the same values. Let's just see what it prints. See? And to know if we printed it correctly, if this is what we want, if this is a tuple or not, let's just quickly see the type. See, it's a tuple. This is how a tuple is created. Okay, this is a tuple. It is similar to a list, except it is immutable. That means once created, we cannot change the values. We would see only these three derived data types in this video. In the next video, we're going to cover the rest. And in the coming videos, we're going to see each data type in detail with their methods and functions after we cover the control flow statements, because that is very much important to understand a lot of concepts. So, and we have to understand one more part, that is subscription. So after we do that, we're going to deep dive into each data type. This is just an overview. Thank you for watching. See you soon.